Welcome to Readability. I'm your host, Ashley Kelson. In Readability, we read all kinds of stories, from short storybooks to large chapter books. You could sit down with family or just lay back and relax. Every Saturday, we read, review, and recommend different books for your listening pleasure. I really hope you enjoy Readability. Let's get started. Hello, everybody. Today, I'll be finally reviewing The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. I have yet to finish this series, but I am currently reading another series, and it's very complicated, so I'll try my best to finish it. I'll admit, it's been a hot second since I've read this, so if I get any information wrong, I am so sorry. I have a good amount to talk about, so without further ado, let's go. The first volume to this series, The Trials of Apollo, is another spin-off of the Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus series. We follow Apollo, who has been punished by his father, Zeus, and has been turned fully mortal with the alias Lester Papadopoulos, which took me a while to figure out how to pronounce it, and I'm still not sure if I'm 100% accurate. In the book, we see Apollo. I know his name is Lester, but I'm going to call him Apollo, who is falling into a dumpster. Yeah, that's the beginning of the book. He encounters these two boys, and after a mess, if you will, he realizes that someone knew about him. By him, I mean him falling to a dumpster. Then Apollo meets his new sidekick, Meg McCaffrey. Her name is much more simpler, as you can tell. She becomes his new controller, guardian, leader, or something like that, and she has power over Apollo. Hopefully she uses that for good. Finally, he realizes that he needs help from someone Apollo trusts. And of course, it's Percy Jackson. Come to find out that Percy has to study for these tests, and he's not going to be able to fight like the other books and be a demigod. He wants to be a normal person, which makes sense. After going to Camp Half-Blood and doing some things, he finds out that the Oracle of Delphi, or Rachel, cannot give oracles, and someone in particular, the Beast, is trying to destroy and control all sources of the oracles, and Apollo has to stop it. Rick Riordan does a great job writing this book. Gosh, even with Apollo's character development, that was great. It was amazing. The humor is as great as ever, and it's refreshing to see new and old characters. Rick Riordan did it again. There are 375 pages. There are 39 chapters in the book. I am not sure if this book won an award. The author is Rick Riordan, and the publishing brand is Disney Hyperion. This book was really good, and I believe was a great start to the series. The characters were great, and the plot was very interesting. I really have nothing much else to say except this was a great book. It was decently long. It was very entertaining. At the start of each chapter, there was a haiku, which must have been a lot of effort, so props to that. Definitely giving this book a solid 8.5 out of 10 or even 9 out of 10. Why? Well, I'm not so sure, really. The book didn't give me a super good feeling about it, even though there was a little twist. I'll give it that. But it wasn't horrible enough to give it, below a 7. Would I recommend? And the answer is yes. If they're up to speed with the other series, and if they haven't read this book already, then I would 100% recommend the book to my dear reader friends. I mean, if they read Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus series, which you kind of have to read before this, then I don't need any more explaining because this book is going to be great, and the series itself. Spoilers ahead for this book and the Blood of Olympus ending, so be careful. When Meg went on the Beast side because he was her stepfather? What? I was very shocked, to say the least. I was kind of sad and very disappointed in Meg. I was hoping that she would turn her back on him and help Apollo, but I hate to break it to you guys, but no, she didn't, in this book at least. Apollo's character development, from being an arrogant, self-absorbed god to a more humble, easy mortal. Look at that. of course, well, he's not 100% certain that he'll become a god, but, you know, you kind of have a feeling that, yes, he will become a god again. Or maybe he'll stay mortal. But anyways, he has to deal with being immortal right after being a god and having all of this stuff. And I just love the character development in this one book because it's so noticeable. And oh my, when Leo came back, I was very excited. We've been waiting for him to come back. Well, the characters have. We already knew that he was alive. Spoiler! But it was great to see him with Calypso and, of course, Festus. It was so heartwarming, and I can't wait to see him more in the next book. Okay, for my favorite part of the episode, the character thoughts. We see Nico. Of course, I probably shouldn't touch on his subject because, you know, House of Hades spoilers, so I'll talk about him later when I review that book. We meet Apollo's other kids. Kayla Knowles, I believe that's how you pronounce her last name, and Austin Lake. Kayla loves archery, and Austin has a passion for music. And they seem very chill, and I love them. Meg is very interesting, kind of, not really. She can stand her ground, yet she's somewhat immature and hyper, and she's 12. She really reminds me of Carmelita Spatz from the A Series of Unfortunate Events series. For some reason, Apollo is Apollo. My favorite character would probably be Meg in this book, because, you know, I just have a feeling, and my least favorite would the Beast. None of them really speak to me as, like, I dislike you. But, oh well, those were my character thoughts on this book. Alrighty, it was really fun reviewing this book, and I hope you guys enjoyed. This book was just really good in general, and if you enjoyed this little review of The Hidden Oracle, check out the book itself. Without further ado, let's get on to the official readability ending.